Welcome to the Timeless Mind. It's your ultimate source for, uh, well, bite-sized wisdom, I guess you could say, from the most powerful books ever written. If you've ever wanted to absorb those life-changing lessons from classic books without spending hours and hours reading, we all have those stacks of books that we want to get to. Well, you're in the right place.
That's right.
This is Series 1, Episode 8, and we are diving into the 4-hour work week, escape the 9 to 5, and design your dream life. So let's dive in.
Okay, so the 4-hour work week, it's not just about, working less. It's about designing a lifestyle you love right now and not decades down the line.
Right, not waiting until you're 65 to finally start living.
Exactly.
Ferriss, a successful entrepreneur and world traveler himself, argues that the traditional deferred life plan, work your life away to enjoy retirement later, is a trap.
Yeah, it's kind of like putting off your happiness for some, far-off future date.
Yeah, and he believes you can experience those rewards of a so-called successful life before you're 62. And the book is packed with all these unconventional strategies and real-life stories of people who've ditched the 9 to 5 to live their dreams, everything from surfing in Brazil to running a cafe in Munich.
I mean, it's really inspiring to see how people have created these incredible lives for themselves.
So it sounds like it's really about understanding that time, not money, is your most valuable asset.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ferriss lays out this acronym, DEAL, kind of like a roadmap for the whole 4-hour workweek philosophy. And it starts with D for definition, redefining what the dream life actually is.
Okay.
So what does he mean by that?
Well, he introduces us to the concept of the new rich.
Mm.
These are people who prioritize time and mobility over just money. They've found ways to live like millionaires without necessarily being millionaires.
So it's not just about the money, it's about the freedom and the flexibility that comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. And they challenge us to rethink the rules of the real world, those
Yes.
things that we often accept as just the way things are. He argues that these rules are often just illusions that we've been conditioned to accept.
So maybe the traditional path, going to college, getting a job, working your way up the corporate ladder, it's not the only way, right?
Exactly. There are
Yeah.
other paths to success and fulfillment.
And he uses this really cool example of Olympic gold medalist Dale Begsmith.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did he achieve Olympic glory, but he also ran a thriving IT business, all at a young age.
Wow.
He achieved success and freedom by completely breaking the mold.
That's amazing.
So that leads us to E for elimination.
Right.
And here, Ferriss dives into these really practical strategies for reclaiming our time, starting with eliminating all those unnecessary tasks.
All that busy work that doesn't really move the needle.
Yeah, so he encourages us to ask, is this task truly important? Does it directly contribute to my goals?
Yeah.
Or am I just busy for the sake of being busy?
Right, like just trying to fill up the day.
Exactly. And he also introduces us to the 80-20 principle, which states that 80% of our results often come from just 20% of our efforts. So it's all about identifying and focusing on that crucial 20%.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you know what? He even applied this principle to his own business. He dramatically cut his customer base and workload, but actually increased profits by doing so.
Wow, so less work, more reward.
Exactly. So, which brings us to A for automation, and this is where Ferriss's experience as an entrepreneur really shines through.
Okay.
He breaks down the process of building a muse, and this is a product or service that can be largely automated, freeing you to pursue your passions.
So it's about creating a business that works for you rather than you working for it.
Right, and he gives us some concrete examples, like selling sound effects online.
Oh, wow.
Or creating and selling information products, things you might not think of right away.
Right.
But the key here is outsourcing and systematizing using virtual assistants, online tools, and strategic partnerships.
So building a business that can run on autopilot.
Exactly. Creating that remote control CEO business model.
Yeah.
Sounds almost too good to be true, right?
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of the 4-hour work week. It's to challenge our assumptions about what's possible.
To open up those possibilities.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the L in deal, which is liberation.
Okay.
So with a muse in place, it's time to escape the cubicle. Ferriss guides us through that process of negotiating a remote work arrangement or even, quote unquote, killing your job entirely.
Wow, that's a bold move.
It is, but he provides practical tips on how to demonstrate your value to your employer, how to set boundaries, and how to build a case for working from anywhere.
So it's not just about quitting your job recklessly. It's about creating a plan and making it work for you.
Exactly. And he also addresses those common fears and anxieties around leaving a so-called secure job, those things that hold us back. He offers strategies for overcoming them and embracing the unknown.
Okay.
And he even suggests taking mini retirements, these extended periods of travel and exploration. He argues they can be life-changing and often more affordable than traditional vacations.
That's an interesting concept.
Right. So instead of waiting until you're 65 to travel the world, you could take smaller breaks throughout your career.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
So that's the DEAL framework: definition, elimination, automation, liberation. It's really about taking control of your life and designing it in a way that works for you.
It's very empowering.
It is so, Kat. What stands out to you so far? What resonates with you?
I think the idea of the new rich is really compelling.
Mhm.
It's not just about the money. It's about having that freedom to design a life you love on your own terms. It's about having the time and mobility to do the things that matter most to you.
That's a great point. And what about you, listener? Are you starting to rethink that traditional path? What possibilities are opening up for you? We'll explore all of this and more in part 2 of our deep dive into the 4-hour work week. Stay tuned.
One of the things that really stuck with me from the first part of our deep dive was Ferriss's point about the 80-20 principle.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Like, think about your last week. What were the 2 or 3 things that really had the biggest impact?
Right. It really
Yeah.
makes you stop and think, because for me, I get bogged down in all the little tasks, like, responding to every email right away.
Yeah, it's so easy to fall into that trap.
Like, we feel this pressure to be constantly busy checking things off our to-do lists.
Right, just being busy for the sake of being busy.
But Ferriss argues we need to shift our focus from efficiency to effectiveness.
Okay.
It's about identifying those high-impact activities, the ones that generate the most significant results.
So how do we actually apply this 80-20 principle?
Wow.
Where do we even begin?
Well, it starts with analyzing how you currently spend your time.
Okay.
Ferriss recommends tracking your activities for a week or two
Okay.
and then categorizing them based on their impact and importance.
So like a time audit.
Exactly, a time audit. And once you have a clear understanding of where your time is going, you can start to identify those tasks that are consuming the most time but generating the least results.
So it's about cutting those time wasters.
Well, not necessarily cutting them, but more like delegating them.
Yeah.
Can those tasks be outsourced or automated? Can you delegate them to someone else or hire a virtual assistant
That makes sense.
to handle them for you?
What about those tasks that can't be eliminated or delegated? How do we prioritize among those?
Well, Ferriss suggests using what's called the Eisenhower matrix.
Okay.
And it's this tool for categorizing tasks based on their urgency and importance.
So basically we're prioritizing what's both urgent and important.
Right, and then you can schedule those tasks that are important but not urgent, delegate what's urgent but not important, and then just completely eliminate what's neither urgent nor important.
Got it. So it's a system for making sure that we're focusing on the right things.
And that leads us to defining your ideal lifestyle. Those dreamlines that
Yeah.
Ferriss talks about.
Oh yeah, those dreamlines.
Creating those detailed visions of our ideal days, weeks, and months.
It's about painting a picture of what you truly want your life to look like, both personally and professionally.
And being specific about it.
Sure.
So instead of just saying, I want a big house, it's about how we want to feel in our daily lives.
Exactly. It's about considering how you want to spend your time, who you want to spend it with, and what kind of impact you want to make on the world.
I love that. But how do we bridge the gap between those dreamlines and our current reality? It can feel really overwhelming to think about making such a big change.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Ferriss recommends breaking those dreamlines down into smaller, more manageable goals. He suggests setting like 6-month and 12-month goals for each category of your life: having, being, and doing.
Okay, so having would be those material things like a new car or a dream home. Being
Yeah.
would be those personal qualities you want to cultivate, like becoming a more confident speaker or learning a new language.
Right.
And doing would be those experiences you want to have, like traveling the world or starting a business.
You got it. And once you have those goals defined, it's about developing those action plans with specific steps you can take to achieve them.
So it's about transforming those dreams into concrete, achievable goals.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. I like that.
Another key aspect of lifestyle design is eliminating distractions.
Oh, yes, the low information diet.
Ferriss is a huge advocate for that.
Right. It's about minimizing our exposure to all the noise and the information overload.
Yeah, all that stuff that can really drain our energy and prevent us from focusing on what truly matters.
He encourages us to question the value of constantly staying up to date on the news.
Right, like, do we really need to know about every single breaking news story?
And to limit our time on social media.
Because let's face it, most of that information isn't truly valuable or actionable.
Right, it just creates this sense of anxiety and urgency.
So he suggests developing a media fast where you abstain from all news and social media for a set period.
Oh, wow, like a digital detox.
Exactly, a digital detox. And, I've experimented with those in the past, and it's amazing how much calmer and more focused I feel when I'm not constantly bombarded with information.
That makes sense.
It's about reclaiming your time and your energy and directing it towards things that align with your values and your goals.
So it's about being intentional with our consumption.
Exactly. And Ferriss also talks about the importance of streamlining our communication, particularly email.
Oh, yes, email can be a huge time suck.
I think we can all relate to that.
He recommends checking email only twice a day at set times and using filters and autoresponders to manage incoming messages. Yeah.
And setting those clear expectations with colleagues and clients about your communication preferences and response times.
Right. It's about setting boundaries and protecting your time.
He also recommends batching tasks like responding to emails or making phone calls to improve efficiency and reduce distractions.
So it's about creating dedicated blocks of time for focused work.
And minimizing those constant interruptions that can derail our productivity.
And of course, we can't forget about escaping the 9 to 5.
Right, that's a big one.
Ferriss provides a roadmap for negotiating remote work arrangements, building a case for increased flexibility, and ultimately killing your job to pursue a more fulfilling lifestyle.
So it's a step-by-step guide to freedom.
He emphasizes the importance of demonstrating your value to your employer, exceeding expectations, and building trust and rapport with colleagues.
So it's not just about demanding more freedom, it's about earning it.
Right. And he also suggests starting with small steps like negotiating a few work-from-home days a week and gradually increasing your flexibility over time.
It's about building that momentum.
Exactly. And he provides specific tactics for dealing with common objections from bosses and colleagues, like concerns about productivity and communication.
So he anticipates those pushbacks.
Yeah, he gives you the tools to address those concerns head on.
And stresses the importance of setting clear expectations, establishing communication protocols, and tracking your progress to demonstrate your effectiveness.
So you're not just saying, trust me, I'll get it done. You're actually providing evidence.
Exactly. And if all else fails, he provides a framework for killing your job gracefully and transitioning to a more independent lifestyle.
Wow, so he really covers all the bases.
He does, but what about financial security?
Right? That's a big concern for many people when it comes to leaving a traditional job.
It is, but Ferriss has got us covered there too.
How so?
Well, he talks about this concept called geo-arbitrage.
Geo-arbitrage.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that your money can go much further in certain parts of the world.
Oh, I see. So you could live like a king in Thailand or Argentina for a fraction of the cost of living in a major U.S. city.
Exactly. And he also talks about the importance of building a muse, that business or income stream that can be largely automated and managed from anywhere in the world.
So creating a source of income that doesn't require your constant attention.
Right. And Ferriss provides a step-by-step guide for identifying a profitable niche, developing a product or service, and outsourcing most of the operations to virtual assistants and other third-party providers.
So you're essentially creating a business that runs itself.
Pretty much. And he recommends starting with a minimum viable product and testing it in the market before investing significant time and resources.
Okay.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
That's smart.
He emphasizes the importance of validating your idea and ensuring there's demand for your product or service before scaling up operations.
Makes sense.
He also provides specific tactics for driving traffic to your website, generating leads, and converting those leads into paying customers.
So it's a comprehensive guide to building an online business.
It really is one of the most intriguing concepts in this section of the book is the idea of lifestyle design experiments.
Lifestyle design experiments. What are those?
Well, it's about testing different business models, living in different locations, and trying out different activities to see what resonates most with you.
So it's about being open to new experiences and not being afraid to experiment.
Exactly. Ferriss encourages us to view our lives as a series of experiments
Okay.
and to embrace a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation.
I like that.
He argues that the best way to find what truly works for you is to experiment, collect data, and adjust your approach based on the feedback you receive.
So it's about being flexible and adaptable.
Right. And of course, the book wouldn't be complete without addressing the importance of travel and adventure.
Of course.
Ferriss argues that travel can be incredibly enriching both personally and professionally.
Yeah. I agree.
It broadens our perspectives,
Mhm.
challenges our assumptions, and exposes us to new ways of living and thinking.
It takes us out of our comfort zones.
Exactly. And he encourages readers to embrace the concept of mini retirements, taking those extended breaks from work to travel, explore, and pursue their passions.
So instead of waiting until you're 65 to travel the world, you take smaller breaks throughout your career.
Right. And he provides practical tips for planning and executing these mini retirements, from finding affordable accommodations to packing light and staying connected while abroad.
Okay.
He also emphasizes the importance of being present and fully immersing yourself in the experience.
So it's not just about checking destinations off a list. It's about truly experiencing those places and cultures.
Exactly. It's about disconnecting from the daily grind and creating space for reflection, growth, and adventure.
I love that.
And one of the recurring themes throughout the book is the importance of confronting our fears and pushing beyond our comfort zones.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Ferriss encourages us to challenge those self-imposed limitations and to embrace a mindset of courage and resilience.
Because often our biggest limitations are the ones we create for ourselves.
He argues that the greatest rewards in life often lie on the other side of our fears.
That's a powerful thought.
He shares stories about his own experiences with fear setting and provides practical exercises for overcoming those limiting beliefs and taking bold action.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about taking concrete steps to overcome our fears.
Exactly. And of course, the book wouldn't be complete without addressing the importance of building meaningful relationships and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
Of course, because what's the point of all this freedom and flexibility if we don't have meaningful connections and a sense of purpose?
Right. Ferriss stresses the value of cultivating strong friendships, nurturing our romantic relationships, and fostering a sense of community.
So it's about balancing that personal freedom with social connection.
He encourages us to be more present in our interactions, to express gratitude, and to offer support to others.
Those are great reminders.
He also emphasizes the importance of finding work that aligns with our passions and makes a positive impact on the world.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs.
Exactly. So what does all of this mean?
Yeah, what's the takeaway from all this wisdom?
Ultimately, the 4-Hour Workweek is a blueprint for creating a life of greater freedom, adventure, and fulfillment.
It's a guide to designing a life that truly reflects who we are and what we want to achieve.
It challenges us to question our assumptions, take control of our time, and design a life that aligns with our values and aspirations.
It's a reminder that we have more choices than we think, and that it's never too late to create a life we love.
And the book provides a wealth of practical strategies, inspiring stories, and philosophical insights that can empower us to break free from the 9-to-5 grind.
It's a toolkit for creating a life of freedom and purpose.
And that leads us to a question for you, dear listener.
Yeah.
What small step can you take today to move closer to that dream life?
It might be as simple as identifying one time-wasting activity you can eliminate,
Right.
or delegating one task that's been weighing on your mind,
Maybe it's brainstorming a few ideas for a muse.
or planning a short weekend getaway to recharge and reconnect with yourself.
But remember, change doesn't have to be drastic or overwhelming.
Small, consistent steps can lead to remarkable transformations over time.
And it's all about taking that first step right and then building that momentum from there.
Yeah, keep that ball rolling.
Ferriss reminds us that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And that even small changes can have a ripple effect, creating a cascade of positive transformations in our lives.
So it's not about trying to change everything all at once. It's about making those small, incremental changes that can add up to big results over time.
Exactly.
He encourages readers to embrace a mindset of experimentation and to view setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth.
Okay, so it's about being willing to fail and learn from those failures.
Right, because failure is just a part of the process. It's how we learn and grow.
I like that perspective.
It's about being willing to adjust our course as we go, recognizing that there's no one right way to design a fulfilling life.
So it's about finding what works for you and being open to change along the way.
One thing that really struck me about the 4-Hour Workweek is how it challenges those conventional notions of success.
Oh yeah, those old school ideas about what it means to be successful.
Ferriss argues that true wealth isn't measured solely by our bank accounts,
Okay.
but by our freedom, our impact, and our ability to live a life that aligns with our values.
So it's about redefining success on our own terms.
Exactly, rather
Right.
than blindly accepting those societal expectations that often leave us feeling unfulfilled and trapped.
Right, those shoulds and should nots.
He encourages readers to define their own metrics for success.
So,
whether it's spending more time with loved ones, traveling the world, pursuing creative passions, or making a difference in their communities.
so it's about identifying what truly matters to you and pursuing those things.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that success is a multifaceted concept and that there's no one-size-fits-all definition.
It's about finding your own unique path to fulfillment.
What matters most is living a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you.
I couldn't agree more.
Another powerful concept in the book is the idea of fear setting.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
I think we can all relate to those fears and doubts that hold us back from pursuing our dreams.
Right, those voices in our heads that tell us we're not good enough or that we're going to fail.
Ferriss provides a framework for confronting those fears head on, rather than letting them paralyze us.
Okay.
He encourages readers to identify their worst-case scenarios and then evaluate their likelihood and potential impact.
So it's about looking those fears in the eye.
Exactly, and he argues that often our fears are exaggerated and that the potential downsides are far less catastrophic than we imagine.
That makes sense. We often build those fears up in our minds.
He suggests developing contingency plans for those worst-case scenarios, which can significantly reduce the fear and anxiety associated with taking risks.
So it's about having a plan B.
Exactly. And he also encourages us to shift our perspective and view failure as a learning opportunity, a stepping stone on the path to success.
Right, because every failure is a chance to learn and grow.
He reminds us that most successful individuals have faced countless setbacks and failures along the way.
Yeah, they didn't just magically become successful overnight.
And it's often those experiences that have shaped their resilience and determination.
So it's about embracing those challenges and using them to fuel our growth.
One of the most inspiring aspects of the 4-Hour Workweek is the abundance of real-life examples that Ferriss shares.
Yeah, those stories are so powerful.
We meet individuals from all walks of life who have successfully escaped the 9-to-5 grind and are living their dreams on their own terms.
Right, people who have actually put these principles into practice.
We encounter entrepreneurs who've built automated businesses that generate passive income, allowing them to travel the world and pursue their passions.
So they've created that freedom and flexibility that we've been talking about.
We meet artists who've created location-independent careers, enabling them to live and work from anywhere they choose.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
And we hear from individuals who've simply redefined their relationship with work, creating more balance and flexibility in their lives.
So it's not always about quitting your job altogether. It's about finding a way to make work for you.
These stories are a powerful reminder that a different kind of life is possible,
They give us hope and inspiration.
one that is filled with freedom, adventure, and purpose.
And it's not about winning the lottery or achieving some extraordinary level of success. It's about making conscious choices, taking calculated risks, and creating a life that aligns with our values and aspirations.
And it's about recognizing that we have more control over our lives than we often realize.
Yeah, we have the power to choose how we spend our time, where we live, and what kind of work we do.
The 4-Hour Workweek is a call to action, urging us to question the status quo, challenge our assumptions, and create a life that is truly our own.
It's a reminder that life is too short to be spent in a cubicle, dreading Monday mornings and dreaming of someday escaping to a life of freedom and fulfillment.
That someday can be today.
Exactly. So, dear listener, as we wrap up our deep dive into the 4-Hour Workweek, we leave you with this question.
Okay.
What is one small step you can take this week to design a life you love?
Remember, even the smallest actions can create a ripple effect leading to remarkable transformations over time.
The world is full of possibilities. Don't wait for permission to live the life of your dreams.
Start creating it today.